Welcome back, geometry thinkers. Today is TEK G2B. Derive and use the distance, slope, and midpoint formulas to verify geometric relationships, including congruence of segments and parallelism or perpendicularity of parts of lines. Today's video is on congruent segments. Our learning objective is to describe congruence and correctly write a congruence statement between line segments. And you will know you have mastered this objective when you can actually describe congruence and correctly write a congruence statement. We learn best step by step and skill by skill. We can do this. Now let's turn practice into power. There are a lot of definitions in this section, so if you need to pause the video in order to write things down, please feel free to do so. The first definition is congruent. Congruent means the exact same shape and the exact same size. Same shape, same size. Same shape, same size. The symbol for congruent looks like an equal sign with a squiggly line on top of it. This is the symbol which means congruent. Congruent line segments are line segments that have the exact same length. For example, we have line segment AC and we have line segment XP. Now, if you look at it, it says that one is 12 units and the other is 12 units. So this means that they have the exact same length. So I can write that AC is congruent to XP. The way I write it is AC with a little line segment symbol above it, using the congruent symbol, the equals with the squiggly. I then put XP with a line segment above it. I'll box that answer in, and it is AC is congruent to XP. Our next definition is congruence markings. Congruence markings are a way to show that two segments are congruent, meaning that they have the same length, without having to write out the measurements like you saw in the last example every single time. So what this looks like is if I have a line segment, and this line segment is XP, and I have another line segment that is GM, and I know that these two are congruent, all I have to do is put these little tick marks on the segments that are congruent and match, and that visually tells you that these two segments are congruent. They have the same shape and they have the same size. So another way of looking at it is that they're little tick marks to show that two segments are congruent. Two segments with the same number of tick marks on them are congruent. So if you have a whole bunch of line segments, you want to look for the ones that have the same number of tick marks and the same color of tick marks. So congruent markings are nothing more than a simple visual shorthand for telling the looker, the reader, that these two segments are equal, congruent. A congruence statement now means that figures are exactly the same size and the same shape, that figures are identical in their geometry. So we have line segment AB is congruent to line segment XY. But angles can also be congruent. So we could say that angle DEF is congruent to angle MNO. But we could also say that triangles are congruent. So triangle HJK is congruent to triangle SRQ. Then what makes this a congruent statement is we have the geometric drawings on the left and the right, but in the middle we have our congruence symbol. telling us what is congruent to what. Now let's work together on a problem. In front of us, we see a bunch of line segments. And on the line segment, we see measurements, but we also see the congruence markings. So when we're looking at trying to figure out what is congruent to what, we want to make sure that if we have measurements, we can use the measurements as our defining factor for congruence. Or we can look and see if there are tick marks or congruence markings. We can look at that and match the congruence markings. So what the directions read is that they want us to write the congruence statement matching the congruence segments. So if I'm starting with line segment BD right here, I notice that line segment BD is 2 feet long. I want to find another segment that's 2 feet long. Well, it's not that one, it's not this one, it's not this one. Look, it's right here. And so if you notice, the congruence markings are identical on these two line segments. So we could say that BD is congruent to SO. Moving on, if we look at FH right here, we notice that it measures 1.5 feet, and there are 3 little marks on the segment FH. So I need to find another line segment that has 1.5 feet and 3 little congruence markings. Purple, in fact. So I'm looking around. It's not this, it's not this, it's not this. Oh, look, right here and right here. So I'm going to take those, and now I'm going to write a congruence statement saying that FH is congruent to CG. My next line segment is this TR right here. I notice that it is 3 feet long and there's 1 marking on it. So I need to find another line segment that is 3 feet long with 1 marking. It's not this one, this one, this one, nor this one. Look, right here. So these 2 are the ones that are congruent. So I'm going to write the congruent statement to be XY is congruent to TR. These are my answers. I'm going to box them in, and we're done with the problem. Let's work on another problem together. The instructions read, write the congruent statement matching congruent segments. So I'm looking at all of these different line segments, and I want to match the ones that are identical in size and shape. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to look at this AB line segment. I notice that there are 2 little tick marks on the AB. So I want to find another segment that has 2 tick marks. Not this one, not this one, not this one, not that one, not this one. Ah, right here, XY. So these 2 line segments would be congruent. And the congruent statement would be AB is congruent to XY. Next up, we have EF, which is 2 meters. I need to find another line segment that measures 2 meters. So looking around, definitely not that one, not this one, not this one, not this one. Doesn't measure 2. No, right here, IJ. So EF matches with IJ. Those 2 line segments are congruent. Writing a congruent statement, I could write EF is congruent to IJ. Let's look at GH. So I have GH is right here. I don't have a measurement, but I have congruence markings. The three purple congruence markings right here are identical to three purple congruence markings on another line segment. I need to find them. So right here, this isn't it. This isn't it. Nope, nope, nope. This is 4 feet. 2, nope. This has 4 congruence markings, and this is 6. So there is none. There are no line segments that are congruent to GH. Moving on to CD. I have one congruence marking here, and so I look around at the other segments trying to find a segment that has one congruence marking. I have it with VW. So these two are congruent segments. So I'm going to write the congruent statement saying CD is congruent to VW. As I look around, I am seeing that I have a 4-foot segment here, and I want to find another matching 4-foot here. So I found the pair, and I'm going to say MN is congruent to QR. And remember to put the line segment symbol above the letters. So this line segment doesn't have a match. This one doesn't have a match. This one doesn't. This one doesn't. So we have gotten all of the congruent segments. We've made up congruent statements. I'm going to box my answer in, and we are finished with the problem. Now it's your turn to take the lead. Let's see how you can apply what we have just learned. The instructions read, write the congruent statement matching the congruent segments. Remember to show your work and be sure to box in your final answers. If you have any issues or questions, please ask for help. You may check your answers on the next slide. Now please pause the video and complete your work. When you are finished, press play to continue. Here's the answer to the problem. Please pause the video and check your answers. When you are finished, press play to continue. This is it for today's video. If something doesn't make sense, that's your cue to ask questions. You can come to me, you can talk to your classmates, or even try AI for a step-by-step explanation. We're all here to help you succeed. You learn best step by step and skill by skill. You are turning practice into power. I know you can do this. I have confidence in you. You are on your way to success.